Welcome to the first edition of Dante's Hearthstone creations. That's right, there's actually many a website out there. I actually use two different, but there's many a website that allow you to create your own Hearthstone cards, and they have great templates for doing so. I mean, obviously, I could create my own, but it might not look as good as these templates, so I figured I might as well use what's already out there. And here we go. Let's just talk about some of the cards I like, because I love making stuff, creating, and you should too. I'll put the links in the description below so you can see the two sites I used. It's really easy. It's really fun, especially if you love this game and you like using your imagination just to see what you can come up with. This is great. So the first card I came up with, I try to come up with at least one card for each class, and honestly it's really easy to come up with cards. It's just like a lot of fun. But anyways, the first one goes Beast from the East. Obviously you're gonna notice that some of these pictures are pretty familiar. I tried to not use ones that are super familiar, but on the templates for the pictures I use, I could have searched for my own, but that was like way too hard to search for ones that seem similar to the game. So some of these might seem familiar because they're already in the game. Anyways, I created all these in like 20 minutes. So some of them aren't really checked to see how good they were. Anyways, Beast from the East. This is Hunter class, of course, and as you can see, it's a I forget what that's called. That's not a rare, that's a epic. Yeah, that's an epic. Yeah, epic. Legendary is orange. Alright, sorry. Anyways, Beast from the East. If there's a beast adjacent to the right of this minion, gain +3 attack. So now, when you play this card down, a 3 for 2/4 is actually pretty decent. But when you play it down, and you put a beast to the right of it, then it becomes a 5/4, which is pretty awesome. I think the balancing isn't terrible. I think this card could actually be 4 mana, and it would also be right. Or it could have 1 attack, 1/4, and be 3 mana, and then that might make it better. But as far as now, I like it. It's pretty strong, and one thing I sort of like about it too is it allows a little bit more for, I guess, less aggro and more control-ish type of hunter, which I personally don't like aggro as much, because it's not that it makes you think less, but it's an, I don't want to say it's an easier strategy, because each type of strategy has its own, strengths and weaknesses, but it's not I don't think it makes you think as much, because if you're going only like 7 turns, then you're not thinking, oh, 20 turns, you're thinking 7. So in that sense, you are thinking less. But yeah, anyways, this is just Hunter class 1. I think it's pretty cool. What I like about it is that it's only on the right of this minion. So this actually makes you think about how your board will look and how you should put, minions down. Obviously, if every minion you have is a beast, then this doesn't really matter as much. But it still could matter. So I like that. I think it's cool, that it's only to the right of this minion. Anyways, let's go on to the next minion. That's right. The next, oh, it might not be a minion. I did minion, spells, and weapons. So the next one is a rogue card. It's a rogue rare, as you can see with the blue. Blade of Assassins. Yes. When equipped, every minion on the battlefield gains +1 attack. I think this is very interesting. Now, the reason why I like this card is because every minion gets +1. Notice how it doesn't say friendly minions. It says every minion on the battlefield gets +1 attack, which I think is a little bit more fair. I don't think it's expensive, because you get 3. Now, here's the thing with Rogue. Rogue has tons of buffs. With, they have Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil, and they have the other one I can't remember for some reason, but it gives it +2 attack. And so you can see where the durability on this really is awesome. It has 3 durability, only 1 attack, but because you can buff it up so much, it's pretty good. So I think this is actually surprisingly balanced because it costs 4 mana, which is pretty high for a rogue. But, you know, you're gaining this many uses out of it. So if, let's say on 5 mana, you can have a 3/3. You can buff it up really easily. One thing that's also cool I like about this is every minion gets +1 attack, which means there's a risk versus reward. If you're ahead and you play this, you're doing pretty good. And what's cool about this too is, let's say you clear the board with Blade Flurry or something like that, and then you play this. It's, I don't know, I think it's surprisingly balanced. I think it's pretty cool. Let me know in the comments though. So let's go on our next card here. Oh, this is a cool one. Okay, so we got Mentalist Swapper. Now, this guy is pretty ridiculous. Mentalist the Swapper is obviously quite intense. Battle Cry. Swap hero powers with your opponent. Now, this card it's honestly just meant to be fun. It's a pretty good card. I mean, a 4/12, you know, that of most dragons, like it's a dragon. And it just swaps hero powers. So it's interesting how it can just completely change the game. And I think going against a priest, this would be awesome. So let's say you are you're a warlock. So you're doing 2 damage to yourself each time to get cards. You play this card on turn 10, you swap. Guess what? Now you're starting to heal yourself back up. And they can now draw cards. I think it's pretty awesome of a card. It's pretty decent stats. I didn't want it to have super good stats. But, you know, it's one of those cards where no one would ever actually play it because I don't think it's viable. It might be viable in maybe Warlock. Yeah. Other than Warlock, I don't really see... yeah, I don't see anywhere else. Either way, I just think it's a cool card. I love cards with crazy battle cries and crazy situations. I think it's awesome. But anyways, let's go to the next card. What do we got? Oh, we got another weapon here. All right, here we go. Claw of Revenge. Gain attack equal to the amount of damage taken the previous turn. I actually think this might be a little bit overpowered. Now, that's the problem with this is maybe the mana cost is a little low. You know, you look at the stats right here and you're like, oh, 1/2 for 4. That's terrible. It is terrible. But this, gain attack equal to the amount of damage taken the previous turn, that can get pretty out of hand. So now think about it. The previous turn, I don't know, let's say you're going against, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, Patron Warrior. So they just did like 27 damage to you the previous turn. They did 27 damage. For some reason, they weren't able to kill you. This would then do 28 damage as soon as you took it out. I think that's a little overpowered. It might need to be changed to whatever damage you take while having this equipped. That might be it. I'm not sure exactly how I would word that to make it make sense in the game, but I think that's probably better for this because then this can get really out of hand. However, I do think it's not as bad because of Patron Warrior. So there's not too many defenses against Patron Warrior. That's why it's one of the best, if not the best decks out there now. So I think this is actually pretty cool because then it's like, okay, I'm Patron Warrior. I can do 25 damage now, but I might not want to do that. I might want to hold off because they might have this. And I think that's where it might actually be balanced. I'm not sure. Put it in the comments below. But I think it's a cool card anyway. 4 for a 1/2, but you get the damage bonus based on the previous turn. I think Rogue is the only one that really has that with Edwin. He gains +2/+2 for each card played that turn. So it's similar to a Rogue card. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, let's go to this one. Colonel Armorforge. Yes. Gains Divine Shield every time this minion kills another minion. Now, it's a minion, obviously, but it's also a legendary, so you can only have one of these. And I think that was actually proper for this type of card, is you can only get one of these because it's kind of amazing in a sense. But because of the 5 mana, it's a little bit restrictive, and it's not the best stats. But I think it can work, and I think it's kind of cool. If this was a dragon, this thing would be absolutely ridiculous, because Dragon Synergy in Paladin is pretty decent. But Colonel Armorforge is here. Gains Divine Shield every time this minion kills another minion. 3/2. So, it initially, I think I messed up, actually, putting this. It's supposed to have Divine Shield and then gain Divine Shield every time this minion kills another minion. So the whole idea of this card is that it has Divine Shield, it kills another minion, and then it loses Divine Shield, but then gets another one. That's the whole idea of this. So scratch that part of it. It's supposed to have Divine Shield. I just am a noob at making cards, and yeah. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think for the 5 mana, this seems a little bit more fair. What's cool about this, though, is a few things. This would sort of, if this was like in the meta, it would bring back silences. So silences would come back. And there's a lot of cards that take care of this. But just think if you... I tried to balance this pretty well. So, if you use Blessing of Kings, this turns into a 7/6. 7/6 is pretty awesome. And guess what? Big Game Hunter destroys it. So I try to make it balanced in that aspect. If you use the... I forgot what the +3 attack is. Blessing of Might. Use that, then it becomes a 6/2. That's pretty good if it has the Divine Shield, because it kills most creatures. So I think that's where this might shine. For 6 mana, you can play a 6/2 with Divine Shield. It might work there, but then again, if you have a silence and you smack this thing up and kill it, that's not that bad, you know? I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty cool. And I don't think it's overpowered. I think it actually works out decently well. All right, let's see what next card I have. Let's see what next mistake I made. All right, let's go with the spell here. All right, we got Bio-Fissioner. Now this is a mage card. I don't have anything here because I don't know why. So anyways, it's a mage spell. For each minion on the battlefield, gain +1 damage. Now, I actually had some debate. Like, originally I put this at 6 mana. But then I'm like, nah, it can't be 6. Now, Fireball is 4 mana and it does 6 damage. And I wanted it to get away from 6 mana because of Blizzard. But then 7 is Flame Strike. But I thought 7 might be alright if you have a board. So, at max, if you have no board at all, this would do 7 damage for 7 mana, which I don't think is good. But let's say the board is full for some strange reason. You have this thing does 14 damage. Obviously, +1 of whatever spell damage. So I think in that sense, it's a little bit more balanced. 6 or 7, I'm not sure which one would be better. 6 or 7, put it in the comments below. 6 sounds better. Obviously, you want it lower, but I mean, if you're in that situation, you're probably not going to have a board. That's why 6 and 7 was kind of a big deal for me. So, yeah, I don't know. This one's a little tough. I think it's interesting, though. It gains +1 attack for every minion on the battlefield. All right, anyways, let's go to the next one. And, oh, okay. All right, this one is fun. Uh-oh, General Mentalist. Oh, man, I actually really like this card. Obviously, the art is a little realistic because it's an actual lizard or something. Iguana. Anyways, General Mentalist, as you can see, it's a legendary and it's a minion. At the end of each turn, deal 1 damage to this minion. So now I actually really like this type of, you know, I guess problem with the card. I think it's really cool. And now this is a I don't know if you can tell, but this is a priest only card. So I think this is pretty awesome. I think this actually can work decently well for priest. And I think for 7 mana, a 5/11 seems pretty awesome. you know, 7 mana, 7/7 Dr. Boom +1/+1 is pretty sick. But I think this is surprisingly balanced due to the fact that it does 1 damage to itself every single turn. So now, let's say I have an 8/8 out. Boom, they slam this thing down. And then, you know, they end their turn. Well, this thing gets hit by 8 and it's already down to 2 life. Then it's my turn again. Then it's down to 1 life. So then it's like, okay, do I heal this and basically kill the giant that's on the other side, or what do I do? But then it can also work with Circle of Healing. But then it's doing 1 damage each turn. So I think it actually is surprisingly balanced. It doesn't get destroyed by Big Game Hunter. I thought about making it a 6/11, but I think 6/11 might be too strong for this. I think 5/11 works because it gives you enough time to maybe do something, but at the same time, it doesn't give you enough time to do something. Because mana is so crucial to be a fission. Do I want to heal this? Do I want to heal my face? Do I want to heal another minion? You know, I don't know. So I actually really like this card for this, you know, this effect. I think it's really cool. All right, so let's go on to the next. They're done. Next card. I like a lot of these cards I made. All right, Lightning Swath. Also damages minions next to whatever it attacks. So this is a weapon, a 4/2 weapon for 5. 2 overload. Now I'm trying to think of how I could balance this. And the overload, I think, balances it. The 5 mana, I don't know if the 5 mana, it might need to be 4, but it is extremely powerful. And I one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to bring Shaman a little bit higher. Because Shaman really sucks right now. I think Shaman might actually be the worst class right now. I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's either Shaman or Priest, but I'm pretty sure right now, Shaman's the worst. Anyways, Lightning Swath, like I said, it's a weapon. You got 2 durability now. The thing, it damages minions next to whatever it attacks. So if I attack, you know, whatever's adjacent to it, it gets hit with 4 as well, and you don't take the damage. That's where it's really powerful. But I actually think this is really balanced with the overload and the startup cost. So why it's more balanced is because you're taking the 2 overload and you're able to still use this weapon next turn. So you might be able to still board clear and keep this weapon, but you're gimped the next turn. So I think in that aspect, it's really balanced. But I don't know. Oh, and this is a legendary. That's actually an accident. I didn't want to make it a legendary weapon. There are no legendary weapons. This would be a rare. I just messed up. I was dumb. Let's see what's next. I don't have many left, actually. Did I do this one? Claw of the Beast. No, I did not do this one. Claw of the Beast. Now, for some reason, they've been sort of pushing beasts on Druid, but it's not as effective at all, actually. So Claw of the Beast, 5 mana. Claw of the Beast. It's a rare. Give a minion taunt and gain +2, +3, +2 attack, +3 health for every beast on the battlefield. Now this can get extremely out of hand. Now part of what I was trying to do here is, again, I was trying to get rid of aggro decks. So this is more geared towards and against Hunter, but also to let yourself play more beasts. Now Druid actually has some inherent beasts. Druid of the Claw is a beast, and it has the Panther, the 3/2 Panther, that's also a beast. So this can work. So on 10 mana, you could have a 6/9 Druid of the Claw with Taunt. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's not, for 10 mana, that card's not that great, but to combo it, it's pretty good, especially if you have another beast out there for whatever reason. I think this is balanced decently well because of the 5 mana. If this was 4 mana, it might get out of hand. And obviously under that, it is out of hand. I think the 3 health, I made it a 2/2. 2+2/+2, but I think the 3 health is what actually makes it decent. If it was just +2/+2, I don't think it would be decent. The 3 health is where where it's at. Because, you know, if you're a taunt, usually you want more health, usually, than attack. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an alright card. And let's see, what else do we got? I think we have one last one. And this is a... Yeah, that's right. Okay. We have one last one, and this is the Warlock card I made. Evil Corruption. For 4 mana, destroy an enemy minion and deal that minion's attack to your hero. I actually really like this card. And I think, again, it wasn't supposed to be a legendary. Probably an epic, actually. I think this card's pretty good. Because it's... A lot of Warlock's cards, you know, destroy minions, and then, you know, usually, like, the actual corruption, what it does is you put it on a minion and they get one turn to attack or do whatever, and then they die. Whereas this is Evil Corruption, which it kills them right off the bat, but they automatically get that one attack on you. So let's say they just had a huge taunt. For some reason, you didn't have a silence. You couldn't do anything to get past. I think this works because you're taking the attack, but you're getting rid of their taunt. And I think for 4 mana, it's pretty balanced. Because for 6 mana, they have Siphon Soul, which destroys something and lets you gain 3 health. So I think for 4 mana, this actually is pretty balanced. Because you're still taking that damage, and that's like damage plus damage plus damage, because, you know, you're tapping for more cards and so on. So I like the risk versus reward, and I think it's pretty awesome. Like, this can work on certain cards a lot better than others, obviously, but that's the whole point of it, is the options and everything. Yeah, so, you know, I had a lot of fun just making these cards. I think it's I just think it's super fun. I'm not sure which one of mine is my favorite. Probably this one. I love General Mentalist. Plus, he looks so damn happy. But I just love the fact that it damages itself 1 attack each turn. It's awesome. So anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of these cards. Tell me what you think of Hearthstone. Yeah, and I'll be back. I'll be back with more.